So they said to him, "What can we do to accomplish the works of God?" To accomplish the works of God. You know, at first blush, for a long time, I thought this was like a proclamation of obedience. You know, tell us what to do. Tell us what you want us to do, and we'll be yours. But is this really an act of obedience? Is that what it is? Tell us what to do, and we'll do it. Or is it the exact opposite? Is this a way, when they ask that, is this a way that they can take him out of the picture? God, I don't want you. Don't worry, God, I got this. Is this really a request to be God? I know what needs to be done, and by extension, apparently you do not. Let me accomplish the works of God, and I will take care of everything. Wow. Wow. That somebody would ask something like that. Because what kind of job could I really do at being him? You know, I got problems enough being me, but sometimes even knowing who I am. But how often the things that I want are incredibly short-sighted. You know, I can see from here to here, and that's not the way God's plan works. You know, I can think, geez, if I just get this promotion, if I just get this raise, or if this relationship works out, or this health issue for me or for a loved one. God's plan is bigger. It's more long-term than that. It's eternal. Jesus is saying we got an eternal plan laid out for you. So when I say, listen, I'll take care of this, it's showing a lack of trust in God. That's why Jesus answers and says, here's what you got to do. You got to believe in me. Because he could tell that that wasn't really the case. Even though they're saying, you know, what do we have to do? You got to believe in me. Did they trust really? Do we? You know, they hit Jesus with this. Our ancestors had manna in the desert. And what happened? Then they doubted. I'm giving you manna and you doubt. You drowned our enemies in the Red Sea, the armies that would chase us. You drowned them. What do we want water. We want food. You did feed them with manna for 40 years. But when we do that, we'll make a calf out of our jewelry, and we'll make our own God that we can kind of tell him what we want. You give us commandments that are going to help us shape our lives and be good for us. And what do? They agree to the commandments and then immediately start to break them. Do we trust? Do we really believe that God will provide what we need? Like the Hebrews in the desert, do we sometimes forget? I know I do. Do we sometimes forget at the first opportunity? Or, like these people who actually walked up to Jesus, you were just fed 5,000 people with a couple of loaves and fish. They look at them, well, we know what you just did, but can we trust you to keep it up? Are you kidding me? Show us a sign. A sign? I said, did you just see what I just did? Or are you asking for God power because you want that to be your power, because you think that you know better? I'll take care of this. I'll do that. I'll make sure that it's here too. Thanks. How many times in my life that I have not turned to him? How many times I know have I said, let me do these works? God, you sit in the back. I've got this. I know what my next step is. I know what the step after that is. You can take today off. How many times do I doubt that you will be here for me tomorrow, even though time after time after time you've already been here for me yesterday? But now I start to doubt because I got a new plan. How many times do I just flat out not trust? That's what Jesus said. You got to trust in me. You got to believe in me. Because amazingly, I know for me, at those times when I don't, when I decide this is going to be my plan, here we go, everybody stand back, here's my plan, and then it doesn't go the way I wanted, or it doesn't go the way I hoped, and the next thing you know, what am I doing? I'm blaming him. How come this didn't work? Because it wasn't my plan. You know, how often I can forget how much work he has already done in my life. I can forget it because I got this planned for this afternoon and tomorrow. How often I can forget that if something hadn't happened at a specific moment in the past, where would I be now? If that car hadn't swerved when I wasn't paying enough attention, where would I be? If that particular person hadn't come into my life at that particular time, who would I be with, or what kind of person would I be? When I choose who I allow to influence me, do I come out closer to the person you made me to be, or do I wind up further away? You know, it amazes me how often God knits these safety nets in my life, and I don't even realize it. I don't realize it until, that is, when I'm falling and I need it and I land in it. This person shaped me at that time, or that opportunity came at the exact moment to lead to this position. Or for this guy, this accounting job led to this incredibly introverted person to have to learn how to deal with others in order to become this priest. How many of you have heard me say 1,000 times that in hindsight, my life looks like a straight line? But while it's happened, I feel like a pinball in play. I don't know which is next. You know, further trust in Him, we will feel that it's more a straight line while it's happening and not coincidence. You know, G.K. Chesterton said it one time. It's not that Christianity has been tried and found wanting. It's that it's never been tried. I say so often when in the baptisms, when we do the baptism homilies, the usual homily that I use is that we don't get baptized simply for this moment or simply for a checklist that I'm going to come in and I'm going to follow these sacraments. Baptism, once I say that I will follow you, once I say I will trust you, it becomes who I am. It becomes my way of life. This is, what can I answer? He said, follow me. Believe in the one who sent. Do I really model my life? If I believe in Him, do I model my life on His teachings? Or instead, do I just say, what's happening is happening, let me accomplish the works of God? Like they said, tell us what it takes that we can accomplish the works of God. Am I doing what He said? Or am I trying to find a way to make what I say God work? Do I trust that God, even though you've brought me all the way to this point, God, you've brought me through 1,000 of my mistakes, through 1,000 of my doubts, through 1,000 misunderstandings, through a pandemic. You brought us here. We've made it through to this point. Do I really trust, as He said, that you're going to take me, you've taken me all of these days, you're going to take me through to tomorrow? Or do I say, no, let me accomplish the works of God? You've done these things for me already, but I've got it from here. Do I turn to Jesus and pray, or do I start right out of the gate saying, follow me, instead of follow Him? So do I say, I am ready now to accomplish the works of God? I'll decide this, I'll decide that, I'll decide it's time to be less stringent on masks, I'll decide it's time to be more stringent on masks, I'll decide with whom I'll work, or what I'm going to do, I'll decide which relationships are healthy, I'll decide, with no reference to Jesus saying, the job is to believe in me. That's what you have to do. He says to us, the work of God is that you believe in the one He sent. So on all these things where I say, I'll decide, where on my list do I say, and I will pray for guidance? Where on my list do I say, I rely on you, you'll get me through this? Where on my list do I say that I'm going to trust in your plan, even when, or especially when, I don't see it or I don't understand it? Jesus said, this is the work of God, that you believe in the one He sent. And we say, do we? Do we really? God help us. We do trust. We do believe. God help our unbelief.